Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Today on this brisk morning we're going to try to do some slab pile recycling, and we're going to try to produce some firewood, some lump coal, and some wood chips. So let's get it going. So what I want to do is extract I need to get the hardwood off first. Milled a lot of red oak recently, so I want to pull some of that red oak off. And we're going to bust it up into small pieces to go into our lump coal crucible. So that's going to be what's turned into lump coal. And then as we drill down here, get into some more dry stuff, poplar, then I'll be cutting that up for firewood. Now you may think, how in the world are you going to get a fire going in all this wet and nasty snow and rain and slush? Well, been doing a lot of woodworking in the workshop, so I got a lot of cutoffs, dry wood. We'll bring that out, get that started underneath our crucible, and get a good coal base there. So when we start adding this poplar wood and other scrap on it, then it'll keep the fire going. And then of course some of this other poplar, what I'm going to do is with the tractor, so I have the tractor warming up, we're going to take some of this old punky stuff, put it on the forks of the tractor, come back around to the mill. I've got a blade on the mill that's about due to be replaced. It's close to being dull. So with that, I'm going to put some of this punky stuff on and probably just cut these slabs in half so they'll fit in my Frontier chipper well. And we'll make a big pile of chipping. That way we can chip directly into our trailer and take that up to our chicken run. All right, let's get to work. So I guess the first thing I should probably do is feed the swine, since they're eyeballing me. Don't want to have to edit out all the pig cussing if I don't feed them sooner. Right, gang? Y'all get hateful, crotchety even. Right, Mongo? Let me hold on to your ear. Help me up. Oh, you're so grumpy. So grumpy. It's so muddy. Always getting me muddy, dude. All right. So my first step is actually getting up the side of the hill here. First thing I want to do is get the crucible full of our lump coal wood, which, as I mentioned, is going to be hardwood. So there's some red oak there. Where else do we have? This is a huge chunk of red oak here, I believe. Yeah, this is a massive slab that I created. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. That's probably enough. I'm filling that little 30-gallon drum you see there in the foreground right in front of you all. So if you've watched the channel, you saw me build this. This is just simply a 55-gallon burn barrel that I welded some legs on from angle iron, and then a 30, it's 30, 35, something like that, barrel that goes in. Got small holes drilled in the bottom of it, and of course we have a lid for it. That lid will go on, but first we got to fill it full of wood. But that lid goes on, build a fire underneath, build a fire on top. Once we get that wood cooking where we're off gassing, we get pyrolysis happening, then we're basically cooking out all the water, leaving lump coal and leaving behind the oil, the residues of the oil and all of that in the hardwood. That's why I like the oak. I've made a little bit of cherry lump coal, hickory lump coal. Yeah, I think that's primarily what I've done. And that just gives you smoke flavor up in the smoker. I'm down to one bag, so I want to make some more since I've got quite a few balsam butts we want to smoke this winter. So the trick is getting the sacrificial wood or the lump coal wood small enough that it goes through the pyrolysis process as efficiently as possible, but large enough that it's not just pulverized. We don't want, we want stuff bigger than a charcoal briquette that you would buy in a bag at the store. We want, ideally, sizes about the size of my fist. And so I'm going to have to chainsaw those up, bust them with the splitting maul, and get them down to a size that's more manageable. Alright, so I got her full. Too full. I'm going to make sure the lid sits cleanly on top, that we don't get fire inside. We want the fire on the outside. Let's put the lid on. A little bit of a gangster lean to it. My support rail on the bottom melted. It got so hot. So it'll still work. I'm going to get fire around the majority of it. Alright, so we're going to get fire going there and put a lot of extra wood here to the side because I need to get my bucket cleared up. But you can see how that fire is coming up through the barrel now. And these long sticks, of course, help. That's what makes that nice. It gets the bottom of the barrel heated up, the sides of the barrel, and then once these ashes fall down on top, then we got a fire on top as well. And once that really gets rolling, we can actually hear the pyrolysis take effect as that combustible fuel is coming out of that 30-gallon drum. It actually, at times it sounds like a helicopter because that lid just goes boom, 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 boom. Anyway, we'll let that get going. But I don't have enough dry wood to fire this for the multiple hours it's going to take. So that's why I got to get some of the slab pile cut up and piled up against here because it's super wet, but it'll dry out real quick up against this fire that's raging here. So let's take advantage of our rolling fire and get some of this cut up. Well, I think that's about as much fun as you can have outside without breaking the laws of God and man. So I really made quick work out of the slab pile that I milled in half. In fact, it took me longer to mill the 2 piles in half than it did to actually chip them. And after I realized that milling 5, 6 on height, this DH8 has a true throat of 8 inches, so it was able to handle much more. In fact, the majority of my slabs, that's why I was just able to walk over there and grab slabs off the pile. Majority of them would go through without having to be cut down. It seems like most of my slabs I cut end up being a little less than 8. Now there's some knots or some wide spots that of course I had to skip over some things. So I made a pretty good dent in the pile there. I've got the trailer as full as I dare get it because I got to climb the mountain with the side-by-side and all this mud, and I don't want to come down the hill backwards. So we're going to take it up there, dump it for the chickens. You saw me there with a chainsaw cutting some of those longer boards short. The reason why I do that is the chipper can take it, it's the tractor can't. The 35 horse tractor gets bogged down and actually causes the tractor to stall. So if I cut them shorter, that instead of slowly bogging the tractor down, it takes it and bites, and then of course we can wind that flywheel back up and I can put the next piece through. So not a lot of extra work there, just to chip some really big stuff. And you guys saw some of that was pretty big red oak and white oak I was running through there. All right, so I'm going to go take this to the chickens, come back down. Actually, I need to go stoke my fire first. Let me go stoke the fire, show you guys what that looks like. Then we'll go to the chickens, and then we'll come back and put this away. All right, so we've gotten a pretty good burn here. We're on hour 4, I believe. I left my gloves up at the tractor. The last bit of the workshop wood. All right, well, the day she is a-waning, and I think we got a pretty good bite taken out of our slab pile. Obviously, we didn't get it completely decimated, but got it cleaned up enough. I'm trying to figure out a way I want to organize that better. I like having that hill to throw things over, but I may start doing softwood or poplar, I call it softwood, but poplar and pine on one side, one area, and then some of my hardwoods in the other, so I can sort them out better and maybe be a little more deliberate in how I throw them down there. It may even behoove me to take some of our 3-inch metal gas line, we got to lay it all over the place, and make some slide rails that I can throw the slabs on there and slide down. That would kind of keep it in a little stack. But really happy with the amount of chipping I got done in this time. And this fire, I'm going to have it go through the night. So you guys will have to take my word on what we ended up with. If I didn't get the full result, then I just leave it in there and I fire it again. This usually does better if I'm sitting here watching it the entire time. I can really get that thing rolling. So it's not as efficient, as effective when I walk away from it and it dies down. You got to build it back up and it dies back down. But it's kind of neat. You know, throwaway stuff, slabs, just debris, waste from the mill, produced firewood to fire our kiln, produced wood to go inside the crucible to actually make our lump coal, and of course produced wood chips to put around the chickens. to help mitigate the mud situations we have now, but of course to also make compost. It's a great composting system. So it's really neat how the recycling here really helps us to the greatest advantage we can get. Well, if you're watching this on the Sunday that it released, then this is the fourth Sunday of Advent, and that means Christmas is right around the corner. And Kelly and I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a most prosperous New Year. So with this being the last Sunday of Advent, I hope you take some time today to stop and pray and thank our Savior, the one who brought hope, peace, joy, and love into the world. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.